often people ask me, Lawrence, what's the one habit that changed your life? What's the one thing? And for those who are new, I'm 20 years old and I'm a public speaker. I have my own office and life is pretty darn great. So this was me at 14 years old. This is me at 20. And I am a radically different person. I act different, I talk different, I dress different, I feel different, I live different. And throughout those years, there were many things I did. I did therapy, I did reading, I changed the kind of music I listened to, I watched different shows, I stopped playing video games. I did a lot of things. And when people ask me that question, there is an answer I always give. Journaling. I'm telling you, if you take $3 and you go get a pen, a notebook, it will change your life. And here's why. Over the years of me journaling, I have gotten a very deep understanding of myself. I'm able to process my emotions better. I'm a lot less reactive. I'm able to get myself out of those mental spirals where you think of the worst case scenario and then you think about the worst thing and it just gets worse. I'm able to get myself out of that. I'm able to express myself better. I'm able to handle my emotions in a healthy way. I'm less stressed out. Like, journaling really changed my life. And the reason why is because it's very rare that we sit down and think. Not sit down and scroll on your phone, not sit down and eat, not sit down and watch a movie, but sit down and think. It's rare that we do that because we're always either I'm going to school or I'm going to work or I have to help do my chores or I'm watching a movie with my family or I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's very rare that we just sit down and don't do. We just are. We simply sit there and we notice what comes up. When people sit down and they first start journaling, a lot of times they start to become aware of things that they don't want to think about. Like, man, I haven't cleaned my room in a long time. I'm treating people badly. I'm eating a ton of junk food. Like, we don't want to think about those sort of things. So the first thing we do, I gotta scroll on something. I gotta watch something. Let me call somebody. Let me do something. But when you're journaling and you just sit down, you don't have to do it for an hour. I'm not saying you have to sit down and write a book. I'm just saying give it 10 minutes. By 3 minutes in, your thoughts are gonna come up. And that's when people start to push it down. They're like, I don't want to think about that. But you have to think about it because whatever you don't express, you repress, and whatever gets repressed becomes depressed. That's a quote I heard somewhere. I can't remember where exactly. But essentially what it means is that the thing that we don't deal with, they still affect us. Like Carl Jung, he was a psychologist, and he said, until we make the unconscious conscious, it will rule our life and we call it fate. In other words, what it means is that underneath the surface, there was a lot of things going on. There's a lot of feelings. There's a lot of memories. There's a lot of things that we are dealing with, but we're not actually dealing with it. We're kind of pushing it off in the corner and not addressing it. And eventually it comes out in random ways. Like if you're really angry, but you never allow yourself to feel it and you never allow yourself to deal with what's making you angry, you might start screaming when someone cuts you off in traffic, or you get into an argument with your girlfriend, or you start doing bad habits, like you might start punching holes in the wall or something. But on the other side, there's people who they are always they never allow themselves to express it, and instead of taking it out on other people, they start taking it out on themselves. That's when people get into things such as, addictions and, a lot of worse things. But really deep down, it's like we are afraid sometimes to tell this to people because I don't want people to judge me. I don't want people to think I'm crazy. I don't want people to think I'm weird. I don't know how to talk about it. You might just not have the word. Like you're trying to describe it. Like you're trying to describe, I feel something, but I don't know why, and I don't know what exactly this feeling is. When you're journaling, you don't have to worry about someone judging you. It's a piece of paper. The only person that judges you is yourself. We judge ourselves so harshly that we think that everyone else judges us as much as we judge ourselves. But the truth is, nobody thinks about us as much as we think about ourselves. And until you sit down and give yourself the time and space and opportunity to process your thoughts, they're just running around chaotically in the background. But when you're journaling, you get it from out here onto the paper. And you can look at that and you can go, oh, now I see why I act this way. Now I see why I'm afraid of this thing, or why I'm nervous to talk to that person, or why I don't feel good enough. Now I know why. And then, now that you know why, you can actually do something with it. You can actually take what you learned about yourself, figure out what am I trying to improve, what am I trying to elevate in my life, such as a goal. It might be, I just want to break a bad habit. It could be anything, really. And now that we know what's going on, why it's going on, we're able to use that to create a solution. And the solution for me could be completely different than you. It could be completely different. It might be different ways that we manage our stress, for example. For me, I really like fishing. A lot of people don't. A lot of people think it is boring. A lot of people don't want to sit down and do that. Understandable. Their thing might be going to the gym, or it might be reading a book, or it could be cooking, or art, or music, or anything like that, really. It doesn't matter how someone deals with their problems or their stress or their emotions, as long as they deal with it in a healthy way. And nobody is going to understand you as much as you understand you. And that's okay. That's how it's supposed to be. Because you spend 24/7, 365, from the first breath to the last with yourself. So the more that you sit down and give yourself the opportunity to just be with your thoughts, understand them and process them, the better life gets. Because how do you expect to build self-love and self-worth and understand who you are if you never quiet down the world? We have to take a step away from what goes on outside and step back inside. Because on the outside, we have responsibilities we have to deal with. We have things we need to handle. Makes sense. Like, you might have a job, or you might have school, or you might have younger siblings you have to help with. You might have rent. You might have college. Understandable. These are real responsibilities that we have to handle. However, what we also need to do is give ourselves some time. It could be just 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, to just sit down and be with our thoughts. Write down how you're feeling. Just journal about it. And you might think, well, I don't have any time. Like, I'm too busy. Understandable. A lot of people feel that way. Now, it could be as simple as if you're driving to work, instead of having the radio on, drive with the radio off. Now you have some time to be aware of what am I actually thinking. Or if you're on the school bus, you could write it down then. Or before bed, you spend 5 minutes. When you wake up in the morning, you spend 5 minutes. The thing about journaling is, when people think I don't have enough time, it's that they might be thinking, I need to sit down for an hour. No, you don't need a whole hour. You can if you want to. I just do 15 minutes. And it's something that really had changed my life. I went from feeling insecure nervous, shy, afraid. I felt like really worthless, to now I feel really, really good. And I don't feel perfect every single day, but I feel a lot better compared to how I used to. Because not every day is perfect. Not every moment is going to be sunshine and rainbows, but through journaling, I have also been able to appreciate all the sides of me, all the sides of life, and all the sides of what every day presents to me. Because when you're journaling, you're going to have a lot of times where you have to reflect on some painful moments, like some painful memories. Like, good example for me, when I was 13 years old, I got kicked out the house and got disowned by my dad. That led me to feeling really worthless and stressed out because how do I be a good man? Like, that was something that I had a hard time figuring out. Like, how do I be a good role model to others? How do I just be a man? Like, I don't know any other way to word it. That was something I struggled with for a really long time. And through journaling and therapy and a lot of other things, I was able to realize that just because the past hurt us doesn't mean that we need to keep replaying the past and hurting ourselves. It's kind of like getting shot by an arrow, and the first arrow hits you, but all the other arrows after that become a choice because we're able to say, okay, that hurt. That was real. I got to deal with that. I'm going to find a healthy way to deal with these emotions, and I'm going to do the work to move forward. That work to move forward, it might mean therapy, it might mean journaling, it might mean prayer, it might mean a support group, whatever your situation is. But regardless of what happens to us, we're able to decide, how am I going to proceed forward? And it's not always about trying to just, move forward every time. Sometimes the solution is you need to cry. Like, sometimes there are things that happen where it's really nothing you can do. You need to cry about it. Like when somebody passes away, there's nothing you can do about that. You don't look on the bright side and say, oh, they're in a better place now. I don't care that they're in a better place now. I want my family back. You got to cry about it. Okay? Cry, sob, get on your hands and knees, get snotty with it. And that's something that allows you to get it out. You got to express that. Because when you spend some time in silence and you spend some time just reflecting and journaling and being aware of what's going on inside of you, you realize that there's a lot of stuff that people are holding on to, and we don't realize it. That person who was rude to you, their mom might have just died. Like, their parents might have died last week or something. That person who, was, I don't know, disrespecting you on the internet, you never know what they're dealing with. Like, last year, it was 2024. I had this video go viral. I'm walking up and down the street, like I'm just hype. I'm talking into the camera, doing my thing. And this guy, he makes a response video. So I watch his video and he's talking real disrespectful. He's saying this, that, he's saying some real disrespectful stuff about me. And I was 18 years old at the time. So I go to his page thinking I'm about to say something back. After I look at his page, I see, oh dang, he got RIP grandma in the bio. Then I see that, he looked kind of unhealthy. Like, his beard was very straggly and uncut. His skin was breaking out. He was, easily in his 40s or something. So, it was in that moment that I realized that a lot of the time, the people that be hating on us, a lot of the time, the people that might be leaving mean comments or disrespectful DMs, you don't know what they're dealing with. Like, they might be going through something, and for whatever reason, whatever you posted or said triggered something inside of them that they need to work on, and it's not your job to go back and forth with them. Because most of the time, people just don't know how to deal with what they dealing with, and they don't even know what they dealing with. Like, I know how silly this might sound, but, well, it's not silly. It makes a lot of sense, actually. You really don't know what people are dealing with. And you also don't know what you yourself are dealing with until you give yourself some time and some freedom and some space to process that and let that come up. Okay? You got to let those things come up. Maybe you got bullied a lot growing up and that's why you're afraid to make friends. Maybe when you were in 8th grade, your girlfriend cheated on you and that's why now you don't trust women. Maybe you were, I don't know, violated in some way, and that is why you have a very hard time with feeling comfortable around men or women. These are the sort of things that a lot of people go through, and these are very, very serious things. So, once you become aware of, oh, this is why, like, I forgot that thing happened, I don't know what to do, let me get some counseling. Let me find a therapist. Let me find somebody who is equipped to help me. And it's okay to admit that I can't help myself right now. Like, it's okay to admit that right now, I don't know what to do for myself. I know that's, when I had to admit that when I was younger, and I was going through all the stuff with, my family and, feeling really bad about myself and mental health and whatnot, it felt really painful for me to admit I can't help myself right now. It felt really painful for me to say, this is where I am, this is what I'm going through, and I don't know what to do. I can't help myself. But what I can do is I can find somebody who can. For some people, that's therapy. Other people, it is God. Other people, it is a support group. But regardless, it's okay to admit I don't got it all figured out. It's okay to admit that. Nobody has it all figured out. It's just people are really good at, you only see what people show you. You don't know what goes on inside of people's houses. You don't know what goes on when your favorite celebrity puts down the camera. You don't know what you don't know. And we only know as much about ourselves as we allow ourselves to know. A lot of those deep, dark memories that we all need to handle, they're buried under all the noise. We spend all of our day, we got a TV on, we got the music playing, we're talking to somebody, we're on the phone, we are scrolling on TikTok, we are at a party, we're at work. We spend a lot of time around sound. There's a lot of people who the first thing when they wake up, I gotta turn on that radio. I gotta grab that phone. I gotta see what the newest celebrity drama is. I gotta hear something. And that's because deep down, a lot of times, people are running from their own thoughts without knowing it. Deep down, a lot of people are running, and I'm saying this as somebody who just do it. I'm not saying this as, oh, look at those people. No, I'm saying I was one of them. I was one of those people. Everything y'all hear me come on here talking about, it's because I lived it. I talk about the stuff that I used to do. And I talk about how to stop doing the things that we know are bad for us and start doing the things that we know are good for us. And for me, journaling was a really pivotal part of that. Because when you're journaling and you do it for just 15 minutes a day, no music, no TV, no nothing, just 15 minutes, the stuff that you'll start to realize about yourself is incredible. It will change your life. And journaling of all of the things I've done, all the habits, all the things I've learned, all the research, everything. Journaling was a thing that changed my life. With that said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you're looking for one-on-one coaching, link in the description. If you're looking to book me as a speaker for your school or organization, or as a guest for your podcast, You can find all the links in the description as well. I also have a journaling ebook. That'll be the first link, where you can get 111 journal prompts that I created. Have a good day.